All through a standing in line, the clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win this. Life hasn't turned out quite the way I want it to be.
Hey YouTube, Yugioh Double K here. I'm just caged today with a quick little video. First of all, happy Halloween to everybody. I know today's the 31st. Second of all, you may have heard some background noise in the first video. That was because Key and I, we have 2 cats and a dog, and they tend to make a lot of noise. So if you hear that in the videos, it's because that's what it is. Anyways, I wanted to make a video today about cards that I think are underestimated and cards that I think are not given enough credit in Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, or have never been given enough credit. So today I just have one monster card and a few spells and a few traps. I'm going to periodically make these kind of videos about underestimated cards, and I'm going to make videos about overestimated cards too. So that being said, let's get right to the video. The first card that I have today is a monster card, and it's right here, Gravekeeper Spear Soldier. This card is highly underestimated in Gravekeeper decks. My Gravekeeper deck has 2 of these. I think their effect is excellent, especially when mixed with Assailant. Assailant, as long as Necro Valley's on the field, can turn any card into defense position. And Gravekeeper Spear Soldier on the field with Necro Valley has 2,000 attack, and it also has piercing. That being said, a lot of cards don't have 2,000 defense, so you're going to pierce a lot of cards, especially in today's decks. Great card. I can't tell you, though, how many people have told me not to run Spear Soldier because it takes up space in your deck. All cards take up space in your deck, first of all. Second of all, if it's going to take up space in my deck, I want it to be a useful card, and this is a very useful card. Next card I have is right here, Mystical Space Typhoon. And a lot of people will say, well, that card is a good card, and it is a good card, but the reason I put this one on here was because recently I've been told by a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people on YouTube say that not to run Mystical Space Typhoon anymore. I know Heavy Storm's been unbanned, but at the same time, Heavy Storm destroys all spell and trap cards on the field. Meaning, if you have spell, excuse me, if you have spell and trap cards on the field that you need, and you play Heavy Storm, you get rid of those also. So I don't really like that card. I like MST because it's semi-limited. I can run 2 of them, and I can destroy the necessary spells and trap cards that I need to destroy, like your Torrentials, your Mirror Forces, your other MSTs that are trying to destroy key cards that I need, things like that. And I don't know why people say that you need to stop running them. Next card I have is right here, Swords of Revealing Light. I really like this card. I really like Swords. Swords is semi-limited right now, meaning that you can run 2 of them. It used to be limited, and you could only run 1. But as most of you probably know, the effect of Swords is that your opponent can't attack you for 3 turns, which is nice for stalling. It's really nice, especially when you're running I used to run a Gravekeeper's deck, and the new deck I run now is really nice for when you need to stall, for when you don't draw those key cards you need, especially with 2. Potentially 2, you throw 1 down at the beginning, they can't attack you for 3 turns, it gives you a chance to get something going. In the middle, you throw 1 down, they can't attack you for 3 turns, or in the end, or whatever. Or even at the beginning twice, that way you get 6 turns to make something happen, and in 6 turns, you have a good chance of making something happen. I really like that card. I don't know why people say to take it out. I don't know why people say it's not any good anymore. It confuses me. Next card I have is a trap card, Ceasefire. I really like Ceasefire. Ceasefire's effect is that when there's an effect monster on the field, every effect monster on both sides of the field, the person who played Ceasefire, their opponent takes 500 damage for each effect monster on the field. I've heard a lot of people say on YouTube recently that it's not, that draining people's life points with spell cards or trap cards is a lame way to win, and I disagree with that completely. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is meant to be a strategy game, and if your strategy is to use spell cards and trap cards to help drain opponent's life points, more power to you. That's just one way of winning, and that's okay. So these people who rant and rave about Magic Cylinder and Ceasefire and all that, I don't understand why they think it's so lame to do. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I think it's great to use those kind of cards to your advantage. So I really like Ceasefire for that reason. The next card I have is Dark Illusion. This is one of my favorite cards in dark decks in general, not just Gravekeepers, but dark decks in general. This card is so underestimated, it's not funny. People just disrespect this card so bad, and I don't understand why, because it's a counter spell, or a counter trap, excuse me, not a counter spell, a counter trap. It's basically an MST for dark decks. If a card is targeted by a spell, a trap, or an effect monster's effect, so we're taking a 1 past MST, that would destroy that card, you can negate that card and then destroy it. So yeah, basically if they throw down a Torrential and it's targeting any of my dark monsters, I can throw this card down and negate Torrential. I can negate Lightning Vortex. I can negate Dark Hole. I can negate anything that is destroying a dark monster of mine. So it's like an MST. So it's like having 3 MSTs in my deck, which is kind of nice. The next card I have is right here, Coffin Seller. Coffin Seller is not it's not like a superb card, but it still has a good effect. I like the effect. Every time a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, they take 300 additional damage. And 300 additional damage after a while adds up, especially if they're sending monsters a lot to synchro summon, or you're destroying a lot of monsters, or whatever. 300 is a nice little chip that it adds on to your additional, not to mention additional life point damage you may do with when you attack their monsters, things like that. A lot of people don't like Coffin Seller either, because they think, I don't know if they think it's just, a cheap card or what, but I really like it. The last card that I have today is Threatening Roar. It's a really nice card. You play it, your opponent can't attack you for the entire turn. It's basically like ending their battle phase, because in their battle phase they can't really do anything but attack you. So you basically skip their... It is a skipping of their battle phase is what it is. And you don't have to keep it on the field like Battle Fader. And I really dislike Battle Fader, as I'll mention throughout all these videos. You'll probably hear me reference how I dislike Battle Fader a lot. And a lot of people think Battle Fader is great. I personally don't, but that's just me. Anyway, so those are the few cards that I had today that I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, let me know what you think about it. Obviously, all of us aren't going to agree, and that's okay. A lot of you are going to have valid points as to why these cards aren't as good, and that's okay too. I think they're good, but like I said, if you don't, that's okay. Like I said, I'll be making videos about decks that are overrated and cards that are overrated, and decks that are underrated, cards that are underrated. We'll be doing deck reviews. Kia's going to have a Crystal Beast deck review coming up pretty soon when she gets her whole Crystal Beast deck finished, which should be pretty soon. That's another deck that's highly underrated. A lot of cards in Crystal Beast decks are highly underrated, but she's the expert in that area, so I'll let her do that. But yeah, so just stay tuned for these deck reviews and for things like that, more rants, things of those nature. So anyways, comment, rate, subscribe.